Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Ready.Set.Midmarket, the podcast for all things mid-market IT. I am Adam Dennison. I'm joined by my co-host, Samara Lin. She's the senior editor with MES Computing. Hi, Samara. And I want to thank our two guests this afternoon talking about AI in terms of training and certifications. I want to welcome Jay Bavisi. He is the president of EC Council.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much. And I also want to welcome Raj Dubey. He is the CTO of LT, and Raj is also one of our advisory board members with the MES brand. So thank you, Raj, for taking the time to be with us today as well.
No, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Awesome. Before we get started and kind of digging into the topic overall, I would like to ask, we'll start with Jay and then go to Raj. Just tell us a little bit about yourselves, your organization, the role that you play within there. Kind of what your market looks like in terms of who you serve, things of that nature.
Sure. Thank you, Adam, for having me here on the show. So I'm the founder of an organization called EC Council. We are a certification body based here in the US. And what we really do, we started out 20 years ago. We are very well known for our premier certification called a Certified Ethical Hacker. Fast forward 2 decades, we're in 170 countries, and we basically teach the good guys, the IT folks, the cybersecurity folks, 26 different disciplines in cybersecurity. And now, with this new world of AI that's coming in, we realize there's a massive need in workforce development in artificial intelligence. And we've been spending a lot of time and effort to research how we can uplift the community with workforce development in artificial intelligence. And that's basically what we're doing right now, Adam.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And Raj?
I'm a CTO for LT. It's one of the largest marketing agencies in the Southwest here. We are in a very unique position. So I also not only manage the digital ecosystems, the IT, the security and compliance, but I also get to deal with a lot of clients. So on average, we do work with close to 100 clients that are on our roster on a daily basis. So I get exposed to what's in our system, but also in their system. And they're always looking. We work very collaborative to kind of get ourselves to a better secure posture, to better compliance posture, as well as, how can we prevent anything from happening going bad? Means, and AI is something that's kind of been our framework. We've been on this journey for more than a couple of years. Actually, one of our original founder heads a company that's focused on AI. We work on AI on a daily basis. So it's a fun experience.
Great. Thank you, Raj. So I think obviously AI is a hot topic. It's talked about. You can't read an article without it. You can't go to an event without it, a conference, can't listen to a podcast without it. But I think we're definitely evolving, the discussion around AI. And now we'd like to focus on, what are those kind of skill sets? What is out there from training and certification? Jay, you've been in it for 20 years from a security standpoint. We know there's lots of different certifications and trainings that are out there for IT across many, many disciplines. But what are those sort of tops of the waves that we should be thinking about now when thinking about, AI and how to train our teams and our users and our workforce and things like that? What are some of those kind of key pillars?
Sure. I think that's a fantastic question, Adam. Thank you for asking. To answer that question, I'll ask you back one question, right? And that will set as a baseline. Can you tell me how much do you think humankind is going to spend in 2026 for AI? What do you think the number is?
Worldwide spend?
Worldwide spend.
Boy, 50 billion.
Okay. Raj?
Probably more than that. I think probably close to, it will be on upwards of more than $500 billion that total companies are spending across the channels and boards. So it could probably hit $1 trillion.
You're right. It's $2 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little off.
$2 trillion. Now, if you think about that, $2 trillion across the world, this is a brand new technology that is being implemented, right? If we look at the elements of technology, if we look at IT traditionally, we know that IT was always deterministic, right? You have a solution, you have a clear outcome. You put in certain inputs, you get certain outcomes. AI is probabilistic because every time you put something in an AI, the LLM model is going to spit out something slightly variably different, right? It's going to try to be better. If you take a look at IT has been very transparent. But if you look at AI, we're dealing in a dynamic environment. Now, if you think of that, what I just said, 2 trillion you think about the opaqueness, you think of the probabilistic nature, you think of the dynamism. The workforce challenge that we have is humongous because every organization, especially in the mid market, which is where your audience really lies, is using AI somewhere. And I was just talking to Raj prior to this. Raj made a good point. In IT, we always talk of shadow IT. Now we're talking of shadow AI because there is someone in
Absolutely.
everyone's organization using ChatGPT or using Claude or using Gemini, and there's some company data
Absolutely.
somewhere. So the way we think about workforce development is we think about this in four large segments. The first is really the essentials, getting everybody onto the same page, right? Which is the fundamentals level, and this is where we want to teach the workforce just the same way that we thought workforce operating systems and we thought about them, the basic applications, what AI is and what is not. It's not just a prompt, is not just a model, is not just an application, is far more than that. So I think that's the baseline part. And we got to start this at the high school levels. We got to start this at knowledge worker levels, at multiple levels and multiple facets. EC Council is about to publish a framework. We have a pretty interesting advisory board led by the leaders of the largest companies in the world. And these are all AI leaders. And we debated this thoroughly. And we really got to think about how do we build workforce development when we are adopting AI? The way we should think about workforce development is in any organization that uses AI, question number one, does my workforce understand the basics of AI? If no, essentials is probably the way you think about it. If you are adopting AI, well, do you have people that are trained and certified in AI program management? And if the answer is no, then that's the direction you should go. If you are utilizing some advanced features of AI, for example, you might have some open LLM models that are all in-housed. Are you thinking about defensibility of AI? If not,
Mhm.
you better have people that train about offensive AI. And lastly, your C-suite and your leaders should be thinking about responsible AI governance and ethics.
But to that point, Jay, I think many companies still struggling. There's definitely a skill gap and there's a talent gap. Like if you talk about shadow AI, means like people are putting data trying to get answers, just like how we used to do it for Google long time back. So it's not about just putting policies. I agree that training is needed, but I think we have to put guardrails around it. Like we originally initially thought that prompt engineering will become like, oh my God, it will be the most amazing thing on the planet, but no more. It's about kind of guarding those inputs. How do you normalize it? How do you define those boundaries? And that way you can guardrail it, correct? Like even in our organizations means we let loose everybody. We got everybody licenses and everything to any tool that they want. And eventually we had to centralize it. So we had to make like a AI council. And then we created this concept called AI Hub. So what we do is we meet on a monthly basis. We decide what business or things that we want to focus on for this month. And then we operationalize it, put it on our hub so it's more contained and controlled. I think that is the key element of kind of managing AI.
And Mark,
Yeah.
can I just jump in for a second? I think one of the things that's so intriguing about new AI roles is those roles aren't really clearly defined yet. Like if you need someone with AI governance, AI security, like there's no really industry titles or
Yes.
compensation standards for that yet. So how are you navigating that as you're hiring Raj for your company's AI goals? And Jay, how do you find the companies that are coming to you for compliance and certifications? How are you handling that? How do you
Raj, you want to go
articulate
first?
these jobs?
Yeah,
Sure.
I can go first. I can quickly say, so basically, so we have two role types that are part of that council. So we said governance comes from all the way to the top. So our CEO is personally involved in that AI council so that they understand the implications and impact. Now I have data scientists that are part of that council. We have AI developers that are part of the council. And so what we look at in terms of, we are looking at challenges that we can solve and then we kind of prioritize it. It's like, think about like, say, for example, I set a goal for this year. I go like, guys, we need to build like 10 agents. So we are moving to agentic model now. I want things to be more efficient. I want things to be working while I'm sleeping. It's like those heydays of e-commerce, like you make money while you're sleeping. I want things that can be automated be done through my agents that are running. But you need data scientists, and suddenly that role type has become more valuable, in terms of how you analyze that data. Means it's like, think about, we in the old days, we used to do data warehousing and business intelligence. Those used to be a 6 months to a year long project. Guess what? We can do that in a week, 2 days. But then to understand that data and expose it and then optimize it for what you want to do, that's what critical. But yeah, you have to, means there's no official role types. Means in IT, like, what do you define? Like, do you call one IT guy a network engineer, a AI guru? No, we don't have those role types yet.
Yeah, so I would like to add, so two parts, a lot of interesting things, right? So the example that Raj, you just explained, you have an AI council, I think that's great. I think, Samara, this is a developing story. The thing about AI is that the story develops every second. So by the time we finish this podcast, there's already a change. It's already happened in industry. It's happening at a very lightning speed. But there are a couple of points that I do want to make. The example that Raj just provided, I think that's a fantastic example. Clearly, Raj is part of an organization, LG, that's ahead. They've already built an AI council, and there's already leadership at the top that's thinking about AI implementation. However, that alone is not going to suffice, because responsibility, as Raj said correctly, starts from the top, but the top needs to come from the board. The truth of the matter is, Samara, as AI gets implemented, whether we like it or not, there are going to be a lot of questions coming. Today, the clients are demanding that I want efficiency. We've already seen this in the IT world. When software started growing, everybody wanted to talk about efficiency. I want to use IT, and I want to be able to cut costs, and I want to improve the user experience of my clients. Very soon, it moved to governance. Wait a minute. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Where is my data stored? How is this code actually secure? What are the risks that my organization is going to be exposed to? The EU has got regulations that you have to deal with. The US has got regulations to deal with. You must accept that AI is going to go through the entire metamorphosis that IT has gone through. The same transformation is going to apply. So organizations that already think through governance, because regulatory frameworks have already started. Now, to your question about workforce development, Samara, guess what? DCWF, this is a defense workforce framework, already defines AI roles and already defines the programmatic requirement of certain jobs within the Department of Defense. And, obviously, EC Council being a Department of Defense 8140 compliant organization, we map to all of these frameworks. So our AI programs are mapped to these frameworks. But the frameworks clearly define exactly what is the job role of an AI program manager, what's the job role of somebody who is responsible for governance of AI. And this is what the free world is going to need to do. To fast forward, the organization that Raj is leading today, great, they have an AI council. I can bet within 12 months, Raj is going to have someone to say chief AI officer. The chief AI officer is where the buck stops, and the chief AI officer is responsible for the governance, responsible for the data, responsible for the risk, because Raj is going to get customers coming and saying, hey, I work in the EU framework. I need compliance. Are you compliant? If you're not, goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm going to find somebody else. And that's a fact.
No, and to add to your point, Jay, it's like executives will eventually not care about how smart AI is. It's about risk and balance, correct? So what is the risk? Means we are talking about, even this morning, I had a discussion with one of my clients here in the Valley, and they were talking about building this nice agent that can enhance that search functionality. So we go, okay, we can build that. But the challenge comes, what if somebody searches, hey, what is the, paycheck for the CEO? And if that data exists in any of the documents in your network, and if I build an agent, it's going to find that data and it's going to expose it. And so the question becomes, what is the governance? Okay, to your point, what is the risk? Because sometimes we don't think about it. So we cannot build these agents and let them loose in the organization. So what is the guardrail? And many times that the guardrail that's going to be the most critical. Otherwise, you're exposing the whole data, and the privacy and compliance goes out the window. So I think that is going to be the next critical step when we are thinking about how we put those guardrails and governance in our AI implementations. Means like agents can be built in overnight.
So
Yeah, all of your non-disclosures will be out of the window because you sign non-disclosure agreements, but agents are going to go find it and expose it.
Yes.
And now you have a legal ramification. And that's really the world we're leading it.
let me ask you a little different question around the training aspect of it, and I'm a business user. I'm not a data scientist. I'm not an analyst. I'm not a developer. I'm a user. So when you're thinking about we hear the guardrails and the governance and the training, and that's all important. Totally understand that. At what point, and are you both at that stage yet where you're either Jay developing programs or Raj looking at the business users and thinking about how do we make sure that they're being productive with this? How do we make sure that they are driving efficiencies, where they're making money or saving money? Are those disconnected? Are they together? And where does the business user in a specific business department fit in here, where they can really make the most out of using AI to drive your business forward? And is there training there, or is that just trial and error?
Yeah. So, look, there are two parts of this. The usability of artificial intelligence in a business case is something that what exposure, marketing, and awareness is all about, right? Every time we flip an Instagram reel, or you get a TikTok, or you do your research, or even if you use AI prompt engineering, or you talk to competitors, talk to your partners, you're going to realize someone's doing better, they're implementing AI better, right? It's the same thing the way we discover software. We have a problem, we try to find what problems can be solved by which software, right? And that's going to carry on happening. If you look at IT, as we discovered software as a found solution, security was never the first thing in our mind. It became an afterthought. We thought about productivity, we talked about usability, we talked about, getting ahead and making sure that we're competitive. And then we realized, oops, wait a minute, we have a problem. What about security, right? And then we went back and said, oh, we got to have someone in security that is a certified ethical hacker that's going to come and secure our systems. Now, in AI, it's exactly the same world. So, to your point, Adam, when you're looking at a AI solution, I think that's going to happen out of your natural, ecosystem anyway. But the question is, as what Raj correctly pointed out, how do we make sure that our ecosystem or our workforce understands the risks behind it, the governance behind it, that they have to think through, because these are business use cases. So business use cases needs to go beyond the business use case. You need to think about the governance use case. You got to think about the risk use case. You got to think about the guardrails. You got to think about, well, if something goes wrong, how do I roll back? Right. And to my point, I think that's the most important thing. I mean, as Raj said, you can implement an agent very quickly, right? Just yesterday, I was taking a look at our research labs, and we had a system that used more than 50 agents interconnected to solve a problem. It's complex, but it's not impossible to do. But how do you govern that? And I think that's where the challenge is. Raj?
And human has to stay in the loop in this governance model. So you got to have oversight on it. And I'll give an example. Like, to your point, Adam, I think if you can identify small areas where we can optimize, you can show ROI, like time savings and other things. And I can give you two examples. So, like, we have a lot of GPTs we have built on our AI Hub, which actually helps our business owners, marketing teams, or like branding teams. Like, when they do, for example, discovery sessions and everything, they're able to take that and they get optimized data out of it. So we use it very extensively. We'll give you another use case. Means it's like a product that we are building for the medical practice, where it's a doctor patient interaction, and what that is doing is based on the recording and the RAG model that we have built and that we have trained on it. It's providing information to the doctors about, hey, these are, like, I've already checked all the history of this patient. These are the new things. These are some of the other tests that you need to do. These are the medicines. These are the recommendation, but it cannot prescribe. So it gives the option to the doctors to quickly select, okay, this is right, this is right. So human always remains in control. I think that's where the differentiation would be.
The one point, especially in healthcare, that I will say is that we're going to be very concerned about hallucinations, right?
Yes.
Different models tend to hallucinate. You don't want to hallucinate in a healthcare situation, because sure, the doctors are going to prescribe medicines, but how do you know that the deterministic process that the AI used to come to a conclusion was not hallucinated, right? And I think what I'm showing you is an example of how you actually be thinking of putting guardrails and how you're thinking about risk and how you're thinking about governance. So we have to be very suspicious people, I guess. And that's the whole point of the training, right? How do you train people
You have
to
to
really
go
think
through
twice?
extensive. So yes, absolutely. That's going to be very critical.
You look nervous, Adam. Are you nervous yet?
No, I'm nervous that the world is spending $2 trillion this year on it.
This is a lot of information. Thank you. Thank you.
No, and I'll add something here. I think, Adam, that applies to a lot of our IT leadership. Like to give an idea, one of the agents that we're building is false positive. So we get so many alerts in IT. We have something called IT fatigue. And if you're monitoring systems, and Jay, you must be aware of it, you're getting these gazillion inputs. Like sometimes our alert system goes haywire. So that is where again the training goes into the place. So we are building in our roadmap an agent that analyzes everything, understands the user behaviors and the patterns. Like, if I log in at 2 a.m., it knows I will probably log in at 2 a.m. because I am random times. But if Adam logs in at 3 a.m. into my system, no offense to you, Adam, but it flags it. That, hey, what is he doing at 3 a.m.? That's not a normal pattern. And then it starts the proper alerting system. So I think if we can reduce some of that noise and finding those small wins and use cases, and then having AI help you be more efficient, I think that is something that we can take to the executives and then say, hey, this is what we can do with what we can build. And you can show demonstrable kind of efficiency and ROI around it. But even today, if you do a poll, what is the ROI on AI? You'll get 50-50.
So you guys want me to scare you a little bit? Or want me to share
Yeah.
with you a fun story? So just to what Raj was just saying, right? Unfortunately, Raj, a lot of what you're trying to build, SOCs already take care of that. If you take in most of the sims out there, they already take care of what you're already describing. But let me share with you a real life experience, right? Without naming any clients whatsoever. As you know, Easy Council. I'm sorry.
Said name them.
Oh, as you know, right, EC Council is critically known for our real forte is ethical hacking, right? I founded the Certified Ethical Hacker Standard. Really, my life over the last 2.5 decades has been about creating certified ethical hackers. Is really helping the good guys hack into their own systems, because just because you hack in your own systems, you'll be able to identify vulnerabilities and plug them and become secure. And that's what my life has been. So now comes AI. Now, I'll share with you some public information. We announced $100 million funding to invest in, next gen AI companies. They do the best things out there to help companies get secure. And our very first investment was in a company called Fire Compass. And this is a US technology, patented. And what it did was very interesting. It did everything it could to erase my 25 years of history. Because what I did was I built ethical hackers out there to be able to go in and hack into systems, right? And around the world, compliance requires every organization. I'm sure, Raj, you do something called a penetration test, and every year you'll call a third party, and the people that show up are, more often than not, ethical hackers, and they'll come in and they'll hack your systems and they'll tell you, Raj, these are the vulnerabilities, and you got to plug it. The system used to happen once a year, and this is a global phenomenon. If you're a large bank, you do it once a quarter. This company built an agentic AI platform, and it could hack your organization ethically, not once a month, not once a quarter, but every day if you want it. 65 days, 24/7, always on. And it solved a major problem for organizations, because guess what? Every day, your organization's IT infrastructure changes. Somebody opens certain ports, someone adds some applications, someone downloads certain things. There's a new update happening. And this is something human beings cannot solve. But here's an example of AI being used by the good guys to defend it. So we went to a Fortune 50 organization, and they said, wow, this is really interesting. We want to test human hackers versus this AI platform. So they picked the best teams that they had, and we went after this Fortune 50 organization, and they said, the CIO said, we're going to have a rule of three rounds, and we're going to see what happens. The best of the breed versus the so-called platform. Round one was run. The human hackers found 2 critical vulnerabilities. The AI found 6. But the AI is learning, it's agentic, right? So we ran round 2, changed the teams. Round 2, the humans found 3, the AI found 12. There were 20, by the way, right? Then we ran round 3, and this is over a period of 3 weeks. The humans found 1 because it's a third team. They found 1. They went down regression. AI found 16. AI is reinventing cybersecurity as we speak. Fire Compass is now able to do automated pen testing using agentic AI, using algorithms that is really out of human reach to be able to attain the speed and accuracy without false positive in a very short period of time. This is the era we are living in. Right? So if the good guys are not going to get trained on how to use AI responsibly to improve productivity, to improve security, right? Then I guess you are going to face, you're going to be facing a very different world that is, highly risky for you in your organization.
So how do you keep the good guys ahead?
So I think that's a colossal problem. I mean, that's something that we are always striving to do. We are going to need to really have the hunger to actually train our workforce right from the start, and not a patch job. Not like, okay, we want to implement a system today, so let's train them on the systems, right? We really got to have workforce development embedded inside. We got to have a culture of security more than the culture of driving profits. We got to think about governance. We got to think about risk. And this starts from the top. So we got to get there, because regulations are going to help, right? Customer requirement is going to help. Customers are going to come back and say, okay, great, you're using AI, but hang on a second. Before we talk of features, talk to me about the guardrails. Talk to me about your regression testing. Talk to me about the implementation. It's going to happen, but hopefully we are going to be far more proactive in being trained.
Well, if it is AI assisted, then obviously we'll meet the timeline. No, to your point, I think there's another thing too there, Jay, because now you're able to find the vulnerability faster. You're able to patch it as well to fix it too. Before we are waiting too long. And so it's like you're not talking about a 30-day lead, 60-day lead. It's like how you're constantly monitoring and patching things. So it can play on both sides. So I see that as an advantage as well.
So
Absolutely.
I'll ask one final question, because we do serve the mid-market, and that example is it's eye-opening, right? That example, Jay, thinking about trying to stay ahead, trying to make sure you've got the right governance in place, you've got the right training in place. The fortunate companies have big budgets. They have teams set up for this. Mid-market doesn't. How far behind, how risky is it for them? Are they going to simply have to look elsewhere, whether it's organizations such as yourselves or others, to help them and bring them in? And how are they going to be able to realistically afford this and be able to get to those levels where they need to be to minimize risk as best they can?
Yeah, look, Adam, there was an era when human beings used to walk, and then someone found out that, wait a minute, we can ride a horse. And then humankind decided, all right, let's all ride a horse. And then someone invented and said, wait a minute, there's something called an engine, and we can actually, use a car. And then we said, oh, wait a minute, we can fly, right? And at every juncture when there was an innovation in technology, humans actually evolved, right? So I think AI is one of those moments where we have to just be determinant that this is an evolution and we need to evolve. So to your question, the IT mid-market, those people that are sitting in an IT world today, sure, I mean, you understand cloud, you understand networking, but this is the time for them to get AI skills and get certifications and get certified, because that's one verification method where you are actually going to have a tremendous amount of demand, right? If you take a look at jobs today, right, the biggest shortage that are happening right now, I mean, cybersecurity used to be number one, but now it's AI, right? Organizations are looking for people that have AI literacy, that speak the AI language. You understand what a RAG stands for. It's not something that a piece of cloth you put on your floor when you spill milk. It's slightly more than that. You understand what prompt engineering is all about. You understand what hallucinations, what bias is, right? And what tokens are, what LLMs are. And, so I think we move in an era, and this is an opportunity for IT folks to actually upskill themselves. And when they do, they will differentiate themselves very quickly. And I think it's a major opportunity for those that are really keen to actually grow. But you have to decide, I want to get off the horse, I want to get into a engine. That's the determination that they have to make.
So
Got it. That'll be the final. Go ahead, Samar.
we have 3 minutes left. So this was a great
With those words, Jay, Raj, Jay, really appreciate you spending the time with us today, giving us your insight into kind of where things are headed from an AI perspective, because It's as you mentioned, it's changing. It'll be changed by the time we close out this podcast. So thanks so much for spending time with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much for having us. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.